So good morning, I'm Dean Suhr, in from just outside of Portland, Oregon. I'm with the MLD Foundation, and we were formed back in about 2001, probably a similar story to many of you here in the audience. How many of you were at this lobby day, this legislative conference last year? And how many weren't? Looks like about 3/4 of the crowd. Excellent. Well, you're in for a good experience, not only today, but through the rest of the week. If you have not ever lobbied on Capitol Hill, or educated on Capitol Hill, as we tell our people, you'll find that the soapbox people, when they come in this afternoon, they've got it all organized for you. So you're not going to be lost. You'll not only know where to go, but you know how to do it, your schedule, and all the contacts and all that sort of stuff. So don't worry about that. Our goal here today is to get you equipped to do a good job, not only tomorrow, but as we all go back to our respective cities and states throughout the country, and probably some of you are international as well. And as we go back into that real world, we have to still remember these relationships, remember the things that we've learned here, so that we can be strong in the work that we're doing. So what I would like to do very quickly is just kind of give you a little bit of a we are one, or are we one conversation. So I took this out of the dictionary, and I thought it was kind of interesting. One, the word one has the value of one. Each one of you is a one, and it says it's used to refer to a single person or thing. We all understand that. It's me, right? Or it's you, or you, or you. But one is a single thing. However, it can be used before a noun to describe part of a group. So we are one family. We are one in our rare disease. We are one blank, 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 blank. And I thought that was a really interesting thought because we're not just one because we say we're one, in the collective capital letter one. We're one because we share things in common. And so I would just want to run through a whole bunch of pictures for you. Your community is like a cruise line. Thousands of people, tens of thousands of people. Maybe your community is a little more rare, a little bit smaller ship. Maybe it's really, really small. And I know there's some of these groups here. I told Julia that I wouldn't have anywhere near as many words as she did on her slides. But we all share that oneness in common. The captain and the crew, that's you. You're guiding that community. You are the connection for that community because you've stepped forward. You are the connection to that community to these places where we share things in common. Some captains are unique. So some of you probably have that dazed look on your face. So that's that generation gap, the Love Boat from what, the 70s maybe. And some are more unique than others. And thankfully, we have captains of all different kinds. And I'm glad that we're a very, very mixed group. The community is connected by being docked. Cruise ships are nice. They kind of go places, but you don't reach a destination until you get docked. And that's what we're doing here today. We're being connected with each other, and you as the captains of those ships are docking them. You guide the ship to the dock, and if you've ever watched a cruise ship dock, you know that the captain sits up in the bridge, which is the upper left-hand corner, but then he climbs out on the side on that little platform so he can actually see the side of the ship when he comes up to the dock. But he's not alone. If you ever saw a ship dock, you notice that they're always looking down. And what are they looking at? They're looking at that big, ugly concrete dock that they don't want to run into. And there's some guy down there in a little tugboat, another one, who's pushing that boat to shore. And at the end, as the boat gets closer to shore, there's all these ropes that tie them up. And the ropes are important. They're big, they're long, they're heavy, they're bulky. There are actually not too many of them. There's a cruise ship with 6 or 8 ropes holding it to shore. Doesn't take a lot to connect the community to the bigger community where we are. The ropes start with a small throw. If you ever watch them try and get those ropes out onto the shore, there's literally one person throwing a very, very tiny rope. Sometimes they use a gun to shoot that off. It starts with one throw and another as each end of the ship is tied into the dock. The smaller ropes, as you can see up here, they take those small ropes and they drag the big ropes over. And sometimes that's a 2 or 3 step process. And you've probably experienced that as well as your organization was formed, maybe over a kitchen table or a coffee table or Starbucks these days. And as you've grown, you've incorporated other people, you're now medium-sized, and now maybe you aspire to be large. Whatever success is for your group, and the ropes which tie you together grow as well. And soon, everything is held together, or at least that's the goal. Sometimes a storm comes along. I didn't put a picture in here of a cruise ship tipping over, but that happens every once in a while. But it's okay, because they can turn them back up. You can go get on another boat. We can figure all that stuff out. But remember that even one of those ropes, those big ropes, is still made up of little strands. It's made up of ones. It's made up of people like you who've stepped out and said, I'm gonna be one of those small strands that's part of a bigger rope that's connecting everything together. Every rope has a purpose, it has a place, and no matter how old, how new, how experienced, how worn, tattered, or brand new right out of the plastic it comes, no matter how big it is, sometimes really big, sometimes really small, every rope is a we of ones. And you should never forget that. There's another side to that that's important too. If we start breaking those ones, that rope loses strength. And so it's important to recognize that even though each one of those little strands is not as strong as the whole is actually much stronger than in the individual strands. And that's really important to remember. Don't ever feel weak or insignificant. It starts with literally those strands, no matter how big the ropes are. And one rope can do so much. And you know that. And you all look in this room, and I look in this room, and there are people that we recognize, names that we know, and you say, oh, how did they do that? I want to do that. You know, how can they accomplish so much? You know what? Those folks, those people on the other side of the room or in the back or the front, they're no different than any one of you. It takes focus, it takes passion, it takes getting connected, it takes failure, it takes trial and error, and a learning process. And that's what we're here today to do. You're the one in we. And you've chosen to take action. You've chosen to be here. You've chosen to spend today, tomorrow, maybe the rest of the week here. And I want to thank you for that, because that is the step that's most important. You, on behalf of your community, on behalf of somebody who couldn't make it, on behalf of somebody who's unable to make it because maybe they're too ill or their kids or whatever, you are the ones that are making a difference. They're backing you up, but you're actually here doing it. So thank you for that.